Kicking off the list at number 10, Asmodeus. Not to be confused with Amadeus, he was a little nicer, that fellow. Asmodeus is the king of demons and earthly spirits and is often referred to as one of the 7 princes of hell. Yeah, there's 7 princes of hell. We could be part 3, part 4, you name it. He also represents one of the 7 deadly sins. Lust. Before becoming a demon in his former life, he was an angel who was known as Asmodeus, aka the Angel of April, and aka Patience, who rules the zodiac sign Taurus. If you've been playing a lot of Hades, this list will ring a few bells for sure. But of course, we're here to talk about this demon, from which is said to appear either as a ruthless, brutal monster, or as a kind of mischievous demon that's playful and quick thinking. Honestly, either form you get here is going to be a pretty bad time. The monster would be pretty scary to see, but also a little annoying. And for the most terrifying exit that I've ever heard of, it is said that Asmodeus will cut himself into pieces and then immediately disappear afterwards, so you'll know. You'll definitely know. Number 9, Azazel. Azazel is one of the chief governors of the Grigori, which is a group of fallen angels who married female mortals, which then produced the Nephilim, which were these giant scary creatures that ate mortals. There, now we're caught up. Awesome. In the beginning, Azazel started as an eater of sins, little hungry fellow, but the more sins that he consumed, the hungrier he became, and this led to him not being satisfied by the sins he was receiving, right? Got a little too addicted. It's like chapstick, you put too much on, now you need it forever. No going back. The reason he was cast from heaven in the first place is because he taught men how to make swords, knives, shields, and breastplates, which then led to humans being the worst people on the, I was gonna say planet, but the worst people ever, just in all the galaxies. It is said that the humans went so far that they were planning to raid heaven, and this is when God told Raphael to bind Azazel's hands and feet, open up a hole in the desert, and then, toss him in. Just cast him into darkness. He's not a really bright fellow, that one. This worked, and for a long time, Azazel remained in said prison. It was so bad that the jagged rocks near him actually tore his physical body away, and this left him as a mass of darkness covered in just mouths and eyes. Yeah, aka the worst thing you could possibly imagine. But fun fact, he was later freed by Lucifer, and then he went on to join the demons in hell, so could be here, could be there. Who knows? Number 8, Baba Yaga. Coming from Slavic folklore, Baba Yaga is a witch who is depicted as an elderly woman, and she lives in a hut deep in the forest. Nice, I'm terrified of witches, so I had to include the old Baba Yaga. This hut is said to stand on thin stilts, which are referred to as chicken legs. Sounds cute, but it is not in real life. It's haunting. You don't want to run into this cabin in the woods. It's said that the Baba Yaga takes random people back to this hut, and then you're soon witch lunch. Obviously, it's horrible. In the original mythology, she would transport people from the world of the dead to the world of the living. People believe that the Baba Yaga actually lived in the sanctuary of the dead. Nice place to shack up. She served as a guardian of ancestral heritage and would conduct a ritual to turn a boy into a warrior. That was her part-time job. More often than not, a young man would be searching for his lost bride, and that's when he would get kidnapped by the Hag. Yeah, also, what an interesting nickname, the Hag. Maybe if we stop calling her the Hag, she'll stop taking dudes before their wedding night. I don't know, just an idea. Number 7, Skogstra. This creature originated from Swedish folklore and is a creature that appears in the form of a beautiful, dazzling woman. Well, kind of. From the front at least. From the back, apparently she has like this hollow, skeleton-like back and a tail. It's not good. If you see a hollow back, holler back, because we're not going that way, my friends. We're going this way. She's often seen near the edge of a forest and will begin to try and, entice you into following her into said forest. But once she lures you in, she'll trap you by causing a disorienting feeling which will leave you lost, like in the lost woods of Ocarina of Time. It's said that if this occurs, you will spend the rest of your life trying to find your way out of these woods. But of course, to no avail. That's pretty haunting. My legs are tired thinking of that already. Never going into any woods ever again. Number 6, Sleep Paralysis Demon. Yeah, we've all seen this one at some point, right? Maybe? Just me? Since it's a part 2, I figured we'd look into some witness accounts from demon activity, right? Mix it up. Like this story, for example. This one comes from the Reddit user JStation666, and this is what they had to say about their own personal sleep demon encounter. I was laying in bed and I fell asleep, so I woke up not being able to move or scream. That's how you know, right there. I tried my best and it went on for about 5 minutes, but nothing. It stopped, and after that I felt hands around my throat choking me. I looked up and all I saw was a very tall black outline of a figure with flaming hair, and I could feel its long fingers, like claws almost, around my neck. This next morning I got up and there's actual red marks around my neck of what looks to be very large hands. Sadly, I did take a picture, and after it was hard for me to get back to sleep in a dark room. Yeah, don't worry about taking a photo. Seems like your hands were a little full. I don't know. Seems like a weird time for a Instagram boomerang, if you ask me. Glad you're okay. Also, thanks for sharing. Number 5, Belphegor. Belphegor is a fallen angel, of course, and after his fall from heaven, he now has to become the demon lord, presiding over the sin of sloth. It is said that as Belphegor served as a lieutenant from hell, he was sent to Earth on a mission by Satan. Yeah, of course, Satan himself is like, hey, get up there, go break some legs, give him hell. There we go. While he was on Earth, he grew fond of Paris, France, and it's said that because of his affinity with it, he now lurks deep within the catacombs under the city. Nice. Come for the Eiffel Tower, stay for the catacombs. That should be the new catchphrase. Or it shouldn't be, actually. Belphegor can be invoked by mortals who are wishing to find fame and wealth. Basically any TikToker, I guess. You're pretty much doomed. Usually through as little effort as possible, hence where the demon comes in. But these wishes are of course doomed to fail because of the demon's true mission to lure the dreamers into sloth. Yeah, through the failure of whatever was provided to the dreamer by Belphegor, he then draws them into procrastination and idle dreaming rather than the active production, which then condemns them to a life of failure over and over again. Sounds kind of familiar, this one. Belphegor is also recognized as one of the 7 great kings who rule over hell. Nice, we're getting all 7 of these guys down. And number 4, Naki. The Naki is a demonic djinn that originated in Estonian, Finnish, and Swedish mythologies. She sometimes appears as a floating tree trunk, sometimes a large black horse, sometimes a hound, sometimes a silvery fish, sometimes a beautiful woman, sometimes an ugly fisherman. Many appearances. Like I said, we're all doomed. With all these shapes and forms, it's no wonder people say they aren't sure what she actually looks like. But we do know this. She lives in the water and she waits until some unsuspecting victim catches their reflection in the water, and that's when she strikes in one of her many forms. She pulls them into the waters below. It's horrible. It's said that her favorite places to make her home are under bridges that cross rivers, docks or piers, or in murky pools and wells. Yeah, nice. So pretty much never swimming again in my entire life. The good thing here is that there are always ways to ward off her evil, and that is by either reciting a magic spell 3 times before entering the water, or by wearing a charm made of iron. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend anything heavy on your persons near any body of water, so better start learning some spells real quick. Number 3, the Night Hag. The Night Hag is a creature that comes from Brazil. She's a tall, skinny woman with yellow fingernails. She's got white hair, green teeth, red eyes, and a horrible laugh. She crawls across rooftops and watches families while they're inside of their homes, just doing their nice cozy family stuff. She watches the family eat and waits until one of them happens to go to sleep with a stomach full of food. That's very important. You gotta really stock up here. She waits until you're asleep, which is then her moment to strike. She'll sneak into your bedroom and sit on your chest so that you're of course unable to move, and then she sits there and waits for her victim to be kind of awake, kind of not awake, which is what some of us call sleep paralysis. She then thrives off of the horror and the helplessness that her victim has to experience at that moment. Obviously, waking up with a witch sitting on your chest, you're gonna be a little bit alarmed, knowing that despite their best attempts, they're unable to move or call for help. So maybe have like some sort of chestal plate when you go to sleep, some sort of knight's armor. We're good. Number 2, the Jorigumo. Not technically a demon, but hear me out. Still so haunting. One of the scariest things I've ever heard about. This creature, according to lore, is said to be a yokai that is half woman and half spider. Ugh, that sucks. She has the ability to appear as a beautiful human in order to, lure unsuspecting men back to her place so she can then devour them like a black widow spider would. Legend has it one day a young samurai encountered this alluringly gorgeous woman on the streets, and many people would have been fooled by her dazzling appearance, but the samurai, he was not so naive. He was smart. He was onto something here. She was too beautiful. He saw through this disguise and immediately drew his sword, but he was only able to injure her before she was able to scurry away. Also, yeah, don't attack people. This is an old folk tale thing. He followed the trail of scarlet that was left by her blood, and then it led him to an old abandoned house. When he peered inside, he saw dozens of bodies that were all bound in spider silk. Yeah, she was indeed a half spider, half monster. I'm getting Ocarina of Time flashbacks right now. Let's finish this list up before I faint. Number 1, La Llorona. Here we go, the weeping woman herself. She's actually named Maria. She's got a softer name in real life. The weeping woman, it's like, no, it's Maria. And she is from Mexico. Yeah, she's got long black hair and is known for her greedy heart. Now, when she was alive, the man she loved would not love her back. Yes, it's sad, it's tragic. And the legend still says that because of this, she did some very horrible things afterwards. Realizing the terrible things she did in her fit of rage, she ended up throwing herself into the ocean. Now, after her passing, because of her sins that she had done previously that I can't really mention on YouTube, heaven would not allow her in, of course, and instead she was condemned to wander the world in eternal grief. Yeah, just walking around weeping, just what you want to see on an afternoon. When people see her, she's usually walking, wearing all white, and soaking wet, so again, pretty obvious. She can be heard yelling out for those that she has killed as she wails, "Oh, my family." Yeah, imagine just hearing someone yelling about their family, and it's just like weeping, wet, haunting woman. This is terrible. It is said that she can be summoned by going into the bathroom, turning off all the lights, and then splashing water on the mirror before you say her name, La Llorona, 3 times. Also, grab a towel, clean up this mirror and this mess. What's going on here? Number 10, the Dullahan. Heading over to Irish folklore for this first one. The Dullahan is a scary one. I mean, they're all scary, obviously, but this one rides on horseback after sunset during certain Irish festivals, so you never know when you're gonna expect them. Yeah, imagine having a lovely night, gazing at the stars as the sun goes down, and then this headless horseman appears over yonder. I'd throw up. I'd be sick all over my nice picnic. He rides with his head held high, and I mean that in a literal sense. He holds his head above so he can see more things, more people to haunt. If he approaches you, one of 2 things may happen. When the Dullahan arrives in his all black attire, he will either 1, pour a bucket of blood on you, which is absolutely disgusting, or 2, you'll be struck in the eye. I'd rather the eye strike, if I'm being honest. I mean, neither situation here is ideal. Both are pretty bad, but a bucket of blood? Ew, that's so gross. What is this, YTV in the 90s? What is this, uh-oh? Oh my! Number 9, the Demon of Loch Ness. I've been here, and let me tell you, I didn't see any Loch Ness demons or monsters. Or either? Are they both the same? Who knows? It all began back in 264 AD on August 22nd. The St. Columbia encountered a demon in the water. This is a famous 6th century account. This started the whole Loch Ness monster myth, actually. The Loch Ness monster was actually exorcised by the St. Columbia, so there's a lot of exorcism history back with the old Loch Ness stuff. There were first accounts of a man who was severely injured after being bitten by a monster in the water. He didn't make it. It was a big bite and yeah, from a monster. This beast rushed out of the water towards a blessed man, but said blessed man yelled at the beast, "Thou shalt not go further nor touch the man. Go back with all speed." The holy hand of the holy man worked. No more foul water beast. I'm getting Ocarina of Time water temple flashbacks as I talk about this. We gotta move on. Number 8, Belial, aka the King of Hell. Belial is a classic. I've heard this one many times. Not sure why, that's pretty scary. Belial represents the earth and also carnal impulses. So, if you're a New Year's baby, I have some bad news for you. January is Belial's strongest month, so you want to avoid him in January at all costs. So if you're gathering a few pals from Hawkins and maybe you want to make a stand against Belial, the old King of Hell, I'd recommend going for him now, really, anytime around the end of July or early August is probably best, just not January, that's when he's the strongest. Belial also translates to corrupt gains, and in the Middle Ages, the demon was considered one of the princes of hell. He was in line for the bone throne of hell. That's crazy, this guy has a lot of history. Once upon a time, Belial may have been an angel. Perhaps he was persuaded by Lucifer once he rebelled. Yeah, don't follow Lucifer, guys, don't be a Belial. Just be an angel. Or an angle, as I wrote. Be an angle. Yeah, be a nice 45 and just, you know, get things done at all costs. That's great. Number 7, Abaddon. The Hebrew term for the doom, destruction, or devastation. 3 Ds that I don't want to talk about. That's horrible. We're off to a hot start already with this guy. Abaddon is the angel of death, not angle, angel. In the New Testament book of Revelations, an angel named Abaddon is referred to as the king of an army of locusts. So that's absolutely disgusting. I don't want to run into that army at all. The Christian text depicts Abaddon as an individual first, rather than a place, because I know he's been said to be both. In the Gnostic text, the 3rd century Acts of Thomas, Abaddon is the literal devil. So it depends what you're reading and who's telling you, but either way, demon and or devil. Bad news always. Let's keep it going. Number 6, Flauros. An ancient Egyptian god that got demoted big time. Flauros, aka Horus, aka Horus, is a fallen angel. They're number 64 out of the 72 spirits of Solomon. Horus has a bit of a posse. See, he doesn't ride alone. He's a little smart, right? Underneath his reign awaits 36 legions of demons, all ready to follow the commands of one Flauros. Now, you'll know if you'll see this one. I mean, his appearance right off the bat, he looks like a demon leopard. But his favorite party trick is transforming into the appearance of a human man with burning, fiery eyes. If you get close enough with said demon, he can give you knowledge on past, present, and the future. So, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, pretty tempting. No spoilers, but like a little bit maybe? Just a little hint. Number 5, the Banshee. Oh, here we go. The Banshee is Ireland's most well-known dark spirit that roams the countryside. Just lurking, just waiting around until, you know, death makes an appearance. That's right, she doesn't actually inflict the horrors this time around. She just screams when she sees them. Her presence is said to foreshadow the arrival of one death. So, yeah, still not a great sign all around. She often appears as a woman with long flowing hair, wearing a green dress with a gray cloak over the top and with eyes that are, of course, red. from her continuous weeping. Yeah, it's from crying, not from being evil, so a little different this time. Some accounts report that the banshee is an old woman with dirty, rotting teeth and long fingernails. Also pretty horrible. There's also more than one banshee out there, and not all of them are evil, so you never know. Some just have strong ties to the family and a desire to continue looking over them, so it's a little normal. More normal, less haunting. After this list, I don't want any of these names watching over me. Like, I'm doing all these demon lists and I'm getting nervous. I've never said demons' names so many times, out loud or on keyboard, so I'm for sure getting haunted. Number 4, Mephistopheles. Not to be confused with the magical Mr. Mistopheles. He's a bit less of a headache, that one. German folklore knows this guy, Lucifer's right-hand man. The demon who yes-ands Lucifer's every move. Nice. We love a wingman for the devil. That's just what he needs. Support. Once upon a time, Mephistopheles sold his soul for infinite knowledge and magic. Not a bad trade-off, if you ask me. His 9 to 5 now is harvesting damned souls and bargaining with those who tried selling their souls. Mephistos from the Marvel Universe is of course inspired by said demon. He causes hell even in the Disney world. Yeah, imagine that. Number 3, Teki Teki. This demon comes from Japan, and the legends surrounding them, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I got chills immediately. The legend has it that one day a woman was involved in a fatal train collision, super sad, and now her spirit, her not happy and extremely vengeful spirit, will appear in front of you randomly crawling on the floor. And at the same time, you'll hear train sounds throughout this entire interaction. So that's the scariest thing I've ever heard. I don't want to experience this ever in my life. If she encounters a person at night, which is usually when she's been seen, of course, the scariest time of the day, she'll chase you down. She'll crawl after you in hopes to get you to join the dark side. She's often seen with a scythe, and usually she's around train stations. So if you want to avoid her, just, take an Uber. I don't know, ride the bike. Maybe just walk it out and just think about nice things. Number 2, Agaras. This next demon has a couple different appearances to witness. Yeah, how fun is that? We love options, especially when it comes to demons. Nice. Agaras can be either a man or a woman. Now, if it's a man, he's old, and apparently he'll be seen riding a crocodile. So, a pretty obvious picture, I'd say, as far as appearances go. You're gonna definitely remember this one. Now, if the demon is in its female form, it's a little different, a little less jarring this time around. The demon's other appearance is young and beautiful, and for sure, not riding a crocodile. Quite obvious. Say you cross the many paths of Agaras, then what? What's gonna happen here? Will you be riddled in disease? Have your nose eaten by a crocodile? What now? Well, this demon will actually give you knowledge on every language in the world. Nice. Thing is, the only words that you'll learn are bad words. The worst of the worst. Not nice. Another detail on the fine print is that Agaras forces those who have left their home to always return. That ought to be exhausting, trying to get your mail. You're like, oh, come on, dude. And finally, number 1, Poreskoro. Fun to say, not fun to be around. Let's talk shop. Poreskoro comes from Romani folklore. Believe it or not, this demon is one of the many offsprings of Anna, queen of the fairies. Yeah, your mom's a fairy and you're a demon? Yeah, what happened? What went wrong here? Well, Poreskoro's father was the king of demons, Localiko. Now, at first, a cake was baked from the hair of a hellhound, as most birthday cakes are prepared. The hair of a cat as well was added, and a powdered snake. This was all done in order to repel the demon king, but instead, after this, the lovely Poreskoro was born from said interaction. I was like, bakery? I was like, no, it's not like a baked good. He has a human body, this one. He's got 3 cat heads, 4 dog heads, and a snake as a tail. He's also referred to as the demon of disease, so don't let any of those demon dog heads get too close. You don't want to sniff from one of these guys. I'm a big dog guy myself, but for these guys, just can't do it, man. I'm also allergic to cats. This would truly be the worst case scenario for me, this demon. Kicking off the list at number 10, the Tulip Staircase. We'll dive right into this spooky goodness with a 1966 classic. This photo looks like the cover of a horror movie or a Kendrick Lamar album. It looks set up, right? It looks nice. The black and white hue with the ghostly figure slowly making its way up the tulip staircase, okay? This photo is from 1966, and experts in photography all agree that this photo here has not been tampered with at all. So how scary is that? Makes you ask some questions, right? We didn't have Photoshop or deepfakes back in 1966. We barely had a camera, right? Haunting, yes, but since it looks almost too good to be true, we'll leave this at number 10. Let's move on. Number 9, power problems. This one's for sure real. Went from maybe to definitely real. This comes from a middle-aged man in Oxford, North Carolina. It was his day off work. He was looking to relax all day, just kick back and hang out in the house. Then out of nowhere, on his day off, the lights start to flicker, and immediately the smoke detector also goes off. What's happening? The lights were flickering all over the house, not just in one room. The fridge, the bathroom, any light at all, it was flickering. Even the water started to run by itself, so no, it was not an electrical issue. He filmed all these happenings, of course, but when he looked back on all the footage, you know, after running to safety, he caught this photo of a demon peeking from the other room. Check it out. There's another peeking demon photo on this list. I don't know what it is about demons, but they like peeking out at you. Yeah, it's haunting. Stay tuned. Number 8. House guest. For this next one, we'll be taking a look at a video. I know, I said demon photos. This one's so small that it may as well be a photo. Nothing too crazy happens. Check it out. Keep an eye on the staircase next to the kitchen. Didn't see anything? Okay, what about now? This footage was taken August 8th, 2019. It's around 1 a.m. in the home of an unnamed family. Always a good sign. I've seen too many of those paranormal activity movies to watch this. This is creepy. I wouldn't even be able to watch footage of my own house with those like hidden cameras, you know what I mean? Like I'd be afraid to go through and scroll. What if I find something? Then what? The cat doesn't notice anything in this video, which is either a really good sign or a really bad sign. Because cats see everything, right? They're so mischievous. Cats will be like mid-conversation and all of a sudden just... Number 7, playtime. We know demons like to play games, I guess, so this next one here seems rather fitting. Seeing as it takes place in a Toys R Us. Yeah, you heard me. Bay Area's haunted Toys R Us. They locked its doors forever as of 2018. The aisles may be closed, but do the ghosts still haunt the building? Are there haunted toys walking around? Is there a haunted Buzz Lightyear that's gonna come out and extend its wings at me? The Sunnyvale Toys R Us demon appeared in the background of this photo. Others seen in this photo, you know, people who aren't demons, they all swear nobody else was there at the time of this photo. Nobody haunting, at least. Could this be a spirit caught in a photo that just happens to be at a Toys R Us? I mean, it's kind of funny, but like, you know, ghosts don't have to haunt scary things. They can haunt normal things too. They can haunt hotels, they can haunt old restaurants, and Toys R Us apparently. I don't know. Demons are demons. They can do what they want. Employees have talked about creepy things happening at night at this location. It's not the only time it's happened. Yeah, fun. It turns out that Sunnyvale store is indeed haunted by more than one ghost. The store stood where the Murphy farm once stood, so many think it's the spirit of Johnny Johnson. I don't know, sounds like a Ghost Rider villain. This sounds kind of like a made up story. But who knows? Ouija boards are considered toys. Can you believe that? So maybe he's just trying to get a phone. Maybe he's trying to get a new phone plan. I don't know. Number 6, Coventry Society Demon. When it comes to these old-timey photos, everybody looks like a ghost no matter what, right? It's always blurry, it's black and white, there's smudges that appear all over the place. So sometimes when you see them, you want to give it a good idea. You're like, oh, maybe it's not a demon, maybe it's a nice ghost. Maybe it's someone who I know who has passed away, and this specific smudge here is them coming to visit. Sure, I'm not gonna knock that, that's a great idea, awesome. Well, it's nice to believe that photos like this from the Coventry Freeman Society shows everybody that demons might actually be real. This event has everybody dressed to the nines, but when you look at the top left over here, you see a hooded figure. Somebody that clearly doesn't belong with the vibe in this room. I don't know what kind of party this is, but this dude does not blend in. He got the wrong memo. He's like, oh, I thought you said it was like a costume kind of thing with like hoods. They're like, no, it's formal, Roger, come on. Nobody else was seen wearing a hood like this, so many believe it was a dark part of the afterlife. Just, you know, photobombing this event. Demons, always pranksters, hopping in at photos, peeking around corners. Classic, they like pranks. Number 5, the Amityville photo. This photo was taken inside the Amityville house back in 1976. It appears to be a young boy with glowing white eyes. He's pretty hard to miss there. See him? Right there, yeah, you got it, nice, good eye. At first, I thought this was from a horror movie that I missed, you know? Like it looks so obviously fake or set up in some way until you start to read up on the details. This photo was taken with automatic cameras equipped with infrared, so this young lad here probably wasn't expecting a selfie. Photographer Gene Campbell took this photo in 1976, and Gene at the time was working with paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. So that's how you know this bit of history here is real, to some degree. The photo was revealed 3 years after it was taken on the Merv Griffin show, and many believe this is the ghost of the young John DeFeo, one of the boys who lived there in 1974. Number 4, the Spectre of Newby Church. From all the way back in 1963, this photo has been passed around from time to time. We've mentioned it on this channel before, it's pretty good. It's one of the most convincing if you ask me, considering its date. Is this the demon of General Grievous from Star Wars? This guy's, what is going on here? He's haunting, very tall. Looks like he has 4 lightsabers. Reverend K.F. Lord took this photo in England at the Newby Church, and Lord ensures us that this photo is 100% real. Would anybody named Lord lie to us? You know, I'm just saying. I think not. The photo looks too good to be true, I'll admit. I mean, this entity is literally facing the camera, you know, so I get it. The figure appears to stand on the first step of the altar, yet somehow it's still taller than the altar. Super Tall Demons from 1963. This was almost number 1. Almost. You'll see. Number 3, a helping hand. This photo is pretty old, hence convincing. This time the photographer may or may not have caught a floating spirit hands. Apparently they're a thing. Awesome. I'll show you the photo, you let me know if you see it at first. Take a good look. Anything sticking out? Any little creepy hands crawling around? No? This photo is a group of women who worked in a linen factory. The lady on the far right appears she has an extra hand there, resting on her shoulder. At a weird angle too. Maybe she was scratching her back and then was like, hey, cheese. You know? No, it's impossible. I did the math. I tried. There's no way. I'm a lanky guy. I tried this in the office. There's no way. This is definitely a demon hand. It looks curled almost, a hand. Like, I don't want to roast somebody's hand and say it looks demonic. It's just the fact that we can see the open space next to the right of the lady in the photo and there's nobody standing there. That's what makes this convincing. I'm not like, oh, it's a skinny, veiny hand. That's got to be a ghost. Some guy's like, thanks, man. What? No, there's no one standing there. That's the whole point. This reminds me of the movie Idle Hands. This gives me the creeps. That movie scared me growing up. I don't like it. Phantom hands? No thank you. Unless you're hitting that thumbs up there shall be no phantom hands in my premise. Number 2, ancient Egyptian demon paintings. Yes, I said paintings, okay? Hear me out. This list is full of the most convincing paranormal photos on the internet, but I had to toss in a little treat, a little historical treat. Demons have been putting fear into the minds of ancient Egyptians even 4,000 years ago. Yeah, demonology is not a new thing. It's not like horror movies came out and it's like, oh, there's demons now. Old, really old. Back in 2016, Whale Sherbini, who specializes in ancient religious texts, found the image of not 1, but 2 demons. They found them painted on 2 Middle Kingdom coffins. The demon represented here is the demon Ikinti. It's represented as a large bird with a cat's head, a black cat's head. This evidence was presented at the International Conference on Ancient Egyptian Demonology over at Swansea University in the United Kingdom. Am I attending the wrong meetings in life? I need to go check out some ancient Egyptian demonology conferences. That sounds like a great time. What? Another example of demons being present in ancient Egyptian days was the image of Amut. Amut is a female demon whose body was part hippo, part crocodile, and part lion. Hard to miss. And finally, coming in at number 1, the Manilla Demon. No, I didn't say vanilla demon. That sounds delicious. This is much scarier. This is one of my biggest fears in life, okay? To go on a trip, take a bunch of photos with a wind-up camera, that would be the worst. Come back and then find something haunting that I missed in real life in the photos, right? That's like every horror movie, it's the worst. That's exactly what happened when 2 friends posed for a photo together in the Philippines. This was back in 2000. At the time, they didn't feel anybody grab their arm, which I fully believe because there's no reaction in this photo. Also, if somebody was that close, somebody they didn't know, there's no chance they would sneak into the frame that quickly. Also, is this demon Dobby the house elf? What? This is not a haunting look, but it's definitely a look. It looks like a bridge troll with tiny hands. But either way, I'm all set.